मेरा नाम रोहित शर्मा है। मुझे क्रिकेटर से कंफ्यूज ना करें, राइट? रोहित शर्मा एंड मैं ईटीएस का सीनियर वाइस प्रेसिडेंट हूँ, ओवरलुकिंग आवर एरिया ऑफ ग्लोबल हायर एजुकेशन एंड वर्क स्किल्स। ये इंक्लूड करता है हमारा प्रोग्राम्स जैसे टोफल हुआ, जीआरई हुआ, and I look after that those programs across the world. Though my Punjabi is not very fluent, तो आप टेस्ट मत करिएगा मेरे को। हिंदी ठीक है? मेरे साथ मेरी कोलीग हैं मिशेल फ्रो, ये चीफ मार्केटिंग ऑफिसर है ईटीएस की, एंड हम लोग दोनों यहाँ इंडिया में हैं बिकॉज फॉर अ वेरी सिंपल रीजन, ईटीएस इज वेरी कमिटेड टू द इंडिया मार्केट. India is one of the biggest and fastest growing global study abroad market. और ETS actually coincidentally ETS और India का एक unique रिश्ता आप बोल सकते हैं. ETS was also founded in 1947. So इस साल December में we will celebrate 76 years. We'll complete 76 years, I should say. And ETS दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी organization है around educational assessment. So हर साल ETS around 50 million assessments deliver करता है across different areas of the education and workforce. आप K-12 से स्टार्ट करें, हायर एजुकेशन में जाएं, as well as workforce, different types of assessments, and we serve every constituent from teachers to students to study abroad aspirants across the board, as well as corporations as well. TOEFL जो कि काफ़ी popular है. TOEFL is the oldest English language proficiency assessment and has been around for 60 years. Last 1964 में TOEFL start हुआ था, and it is the most accepted test in the world. Over 12,000 higher education institutions around the world TOEFL को accept करती हैं. Across all major study abroad markets, obviously USA, UK, Australia, Canada, but also emerging markets, other markets like New Zealand, Ireland, as well as many European countries में जहाँ English taught programs are becoming popular. We are accepted everywhere around the world for English language proficiency assessment. And recently, just July में हमने अनाउंस किया था कि we are shortening the length of TOEFL and it has become just under 2 hours. That is a very important consideration for test takers. जब सोचते हैं कि कौन सा टेस्ट लिया जाए, one of the considerations, we have all been students, right? हमने भी कोई ज़माने में टेस्ट लिया था, and I myself took TOEFL a long time back. And one of the things जो test takers देखते हैं कि कितना लंबा टेस्ट है, this test taking can be a stressful experience. So हमारा purpose ये भी रहा in shortening it to make sure कि test the experience becomes much better for the test taker, while at the same time जो test की reliability है, validity है, we continue to maintain that so that education institutions around the world are continuing to accept TOEFL. साथ ही one of the main things for the market here in Punjab, we all know that this is a big market for study abroad, but more importantly, very heavily oriented towards Canada. And one of the things जो August में हमें approval मिला है is on the Canadian SDS. I'm sure आप सबको पता होगा, but the Student Direct Scheme is an accelerated approval process by the Government of Canada for students looking to get admitted into Canadian institutions. And India is one of the 14 countries on the list, and TOEFL is now also on that list. So we are very glad and proud that TOEFL is also on that list that will allow and give actually test takers को option मिलता है. बहुत बार क्या होता है, आप कोई भी चीज़ लेने जाएं, अगर एक ही option available है, then you are stuck with that option. This way, test takers have the option to choose between different tests, and our job here is to make sure that we highlight why they should take TOEFL and why. And I think one of the main reasons is कि देखिए एक तो छोटा टेस्ट है, under 2 hours, and more importantly, it's also accepted, most widely accepted around the world. Um, uh, just coming to the Punjab market, I also want to highlight a couple of other things जो हम कर रहे हैं Punjab market में to support the test takers. Ultimately, कौन सा टेस्ट लेना है ये टेस्ट टेकर का फाइनल डिसीजन है, बट हमारा जॉब होता है कि we make sure that we are providing all that information that is available and the support that is needed. So just in the last year or so, we have now gone to more than 1,000 partners जो हम बोलते हैं, study abroad consultants जो होते हैं. पंजाब में हमारे पास 1,000 study abroad consultants हैं, which we call TOEFL market ambassadors, जिनके साथ हमारा deep collaboration रहता है. We work with them, उनके staff के साथ training करते हैं ताकि if anybody walks in to inquire, they have the right information to share with the prospective test taker and student. At the same time, we are also equipping them with test preparation के लिए जो products होते हैं, ताकि if a student wants to take that test, they can sample some test prep materials as well, so that एक fear होता है, कोई भी exam लेने का एक fear होता है, वो we want to make sure that is removed, and the student is looking at TOEFL जैसे as an enabler to their higher education and their immigration dreams. We also now have test centers in all major cities in Punjab, including obviously, आप अमृतसर ले लें, लुधियाना ले लें, जलंधर ले लें, all the major cities में हमारा test center है. But more importantly, as आप सबको शायद पता हो, हमारा you can also take TOEFL. आप घर में home edition ले सकते हैं as long as you have a stable internet connection. आप घर में ले सकते हैं, because we understand कि कुछ स्टूडेंट्स के लिए डिफ़िकल्ट हो जाएगा मे बी टू ट्रैवल टू अ डिफरेंट सिटी, उसमें भी एक कॉस्ट होता है, एक एक्सपेंस होता है, एंड वी वांट टू मेक श्योर कि जो स्टूडेंट टेस्ट लेना चाहें दे हैव इनफ ऑप्शंस अवेलेबल. सम स्टूडेंट्स कंफर्टेबल फील करते हैं कि टेस्ट सेंटर में जाके लेना, तो ऑब्वियसली वी हैव अ टेस्ट सेंटर, बट सम स्टूडेंट्स who may not have that luxury, we also want to provide that option कि वो घर में ही ये टेस्ट ले पाएं. And it's not just there, we are also continuing to strengthen Punjab mein hamara presence, and part of the reason I'm late is, again, apologies for that, is we were at Chitkara University से आ रहे हैं, हमने just वहाँ पर अभी MOU sign किया है to ensure that Chitkara के students have the right set of information as they think about their own study abroad journey. We are working with Chitkara's faculty, उनको train कर रहे हैं ताकि they are able to both help the student prepare for such an assessment, but also have the right information ताकि student को ठीक से guide कर पाएं. Eventually जो student Chitkara आ रहा है, some of them have aspirations to study abroad, and we want to make sure कि we are working with the Chitkara staff to ensure that their students have the right information and make the right decision that is the right one for them. And finally, we are also expanding part of कोई भी टेस्ट में एक चीज जो देखा गया है कि oftentimes there is the fear of the unknown. अगर आपको पता नहीं है, आप मोमेंट आप सुनते हैं कि टेस्ट है, थोड़ा सा एंजाइटी होती है, right? And we want to make sure that we are working hard कि students go through the right type of test preparation or training, the anxiety level is reduced and they feel prepared. They feel prepared to do well in the test. So looks like so we are also partnering with CanM और उनके साथ पैन इंडिया ये पार्टनरशिप कर रहे हैं ताकि दे आर पुटिंग आउट TOEFL test prep centers to make sure that students have the opportunity कि जहाँ अगर they feel they need some external help to prepare for such a test, they have a center that they can go and enroll and prepare for this. So very excited about the possibility. Punjab, like I said, is a very important market. India is a very important market. Punjab usme, is a special market, especially I'm also from Punjab. Like I said, my parents, I live in USA right now, but my parents live in Amritsar. So it has a special place for me in my heart. And like I said, मैंने भी TOEFL किया था बहुत साल पहले. And अगर जैसे बोलते हैं, if I can do it, anybody can do it, right? So with that, I'd like to just open up. आपके पास जो questions हैं.
सर कनाडा लोग जा रहे हैं या कोई भी ऑस्ट्रेलिया जा रहे हैं, कहीं भी जा रहे हैं अराउंड द लोग इंडिया से जा रहे हैं स्पेशली, तो किसी को भी पूछेंगे आप स्टूडेंट से तो फिर वो आईएलटीएस का नाम लेगा टेस्ट में. टॉफल इतना पॉपुलर क्यों नहीं है?
देखिए बहुत सारे रीज़न होते हैं उसके लिए, बट मोर इम्पोर्टेंटली थैंक यू, लेट्स सी आ गया. ओके, देखिए पार्ट ऑफ द रीज़न इज ऑन द ग्राउंड प्रेजेंस जो बोलते हैं हम, वी आर सिग्निफिकेंटली उसमें इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं. जैसे सचिन ने अभी अर्लियर इंट्रोड्यूस किया होगा, सचिन इज आवर कंट्री मैनेजर फॉर इंडिया एंड साउथ एशिया. एंड यू नो हमारे जो दूसरे टेस्ट वाले कंपेटिटर्स हैं, विदाउट टेकिंग नेम्स, दे आर मच मोर ऑफ ऑन द ग्राउंड प्रेजेंस. तो जैसे बोलते हैं देर आए दुरुस्त आए, वी आर मेकिंग श्योर दैट वी आर सिग्निफिकेंटली इन्वेस्टिंग on the with the team on the ground across the country. So you will start to see a lot more of students becoming more familiar with TOEFL. In fact, TOEFL is accepted in many more institutions than any other test that is out there. ये एक factual statement है, you can go and validate. And so just like any other product, sometimes time लगता है to build that awareness, and part of the reason I'm here, Michelle is here, is to make sure that we are spreading that word, using your help to spread that TOEFL is equally valid whether आप ऑस्ट्रेलिया की बात करें, कनाडा की बात करें, यूके की बात करें, यूएस की बात करें.
What is stopping you otherwise? Because of the reason that you had a press conference earlier also, a few months back when Mr. Jan was there, and he said that we'll make it popular, and he promised that. I questioned him that time also. So he said that TOEFL will be, because like when we were studying, TOEFL was more important than IELTS. IELTS is a term much later introduced, right? So when they introduced it with the boom, or what?
नहीं, देखिए हर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का अपनी स्ट्रैटेजी होती है. आई डोंट वांट टू कमेंट ऑन हाउ दे डिड इट, बट ऑब्वियसली हमारे लिए द मेन इंडिकेशन इज आर वी सीइंग एन अपटिक इन टेस्ट रिजल्ट. सो आप जो रेफर कर रहे हैं, पहले मिस्टर जैन के साथ जो प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस हुआ था, उसके बाद वी आर डेफिनेटली स्टार्टिंग टू सी एन अपटिक इन आवर टेस्ट टेकर्स. दैट्स द मेन इंडिकेशन फॉर अस. So I think we are on a good path. We need to make sure that we continue to push forward on that. Press conference is just one of the many things. जो partnership मैंने बोली चित्कारा के साथ, earlier सचिन ने बताया होगा हमारी LPU के साथ partnership है as an example, and many other institutions in the country. At the same time जो हम Canem के साथ कर रहे हैं, other distributors in the market, all of this is a groundswell movement जो over time, when students are thinking about which test to take, we want obviously TOEFL to be one of the names that appear on their mind without much prompting. So we understand it will take time, but we also feel that we are on the right path.
How many signups are there already, like since past press conference? How many signups are there for TOEFL test? The home takers are there.
देखिए हम लोग एग्जैक्ट नंबर तो ऑब्वियसली कॉन्फिडेंशियल रहता है, रिलीज नहीं करते हैं, बट वी आर सीइंग डबल डिजिट ग्रोथ. या
So you're signing up with a private institution also, so that people can be aware of, like Chitkara is one of them. Chitkara is a very big institution. I mean, not say institute. So there are IELTS as a tendency to reach masses, wherein rural areas, wherein there's small institutes are also promoting the IELTS. Whenever and immigration agencies are also stress on giving the IELTS and all. So are you having some kind of trainings for TOEFL, just like others have?
Yes. The short answer is yes. Obviously, we need to do much more in terms of the reach, especially into both, like you said, आपने जैसे बताया tier two rural areas, but also one of the trends we are seeing is a lot more demand coming from tier two, tier three cities in the country, and we are also ramping up and making sure that we have on the ground presence, whether it's our own team members, whether it is partnership with other institutions, जैसे आप बोल रहे हैं, absolutely you're right, but we are on that path to do much more.
Any question?
Yes.
It's like, no, one of the major destinations from this part of the country, especially Punjab, is Canada.
Correct.
But there's a tension going on between the two countries for the past few months. How do you see, the situation in casting the shadow on your program and the kind of students who might go in?
देखिए, obviously it is very unfortunate when things like this happen, because while this is at a very high level between two governments, I would say that from our perspective we would like to see a resolution to this as soon as possible, because whenever countries are fighting, quote unquote, जो पिसता है वो आम आदमी होता है, right? Many students' dreams are being postponed. Many people are not even ready, able to get visa to go and visit family members, which is just not good from any perspective. So I'm just hoping that it gets resolved relatively quickly in the right way from both sides, so that people can continue to pursue their dreams. Obviously, including the fact that students that are going there can have the option to not just take TOEFL but also get the visa on time and start their studies.
Would you like to quantify the impact? Would you like to quantify what the impact has been?
So, in fact, for us, we have, as I mentioned, we got recently approved for SDS, and the approval was effective early August, 10th of August. Thank you. So, approval ke baad, in fact, we have started to see our numbers pick up, because obviously हम लोग पहले थे नहीं वो list में, अब वो list में हैं, so our numbers for Canada have started to pick up, and in fact, students who have applied through SDS, अभी तक जितने लोगों ने apply किया और result आया, almost 100% have gotten their visa. And that's one of the things जो हमेशा I recommend test takers to think about, which it's not just the test आप जो test दे रहे English proficiency का, but the test की जो history है, जो reputation है, when you go in front of a consular officer with the TOEFL, it's almost guaranteed. Of course, it's on the discretion of the consular officer, but it's almost guaranteed that a visa is not rejected, because there is years of research, reliability, validity कि जो TOEFL score लेके जाता है, they have done a rigorous test.